everyday believers brought Jesus into their everyday spaces. Listen, friends, they turned their work spaces into mission spaces. Everyday life. You see, if you only have an idea that God is at work with you or in you on Sunday, you will quickly have a Sunday-only faith. But the faith that you and I have been entrusted with is a Sunday to Sunday. It is a Monday through Saturday faith, so that in our neighborhoods, in our offices, in our schools, in our hospitals, as we're meeting people day by day and week by week, we are sharing the good news of Jesus, both with our lives and with the words of our mouth. I'm gonna ask Logan Poirier to come and join me here on the platform. We're just gonna take a minute. I wanna share with you a little bit, have Logan share with you some, about how God has allowed him to turn workspace into mission space. Logan is a physical trainer. Gets people fit. As you can see, I have not been able to spend a lot of time with Logan. He's solid, he does I just wanted to do that, make sure that was clear, so didn't impugn your professional, skills. I'm in shape, it's a round shape, but he gets people actually in good shape. But Logan, what's happened really with your work is quite extraordinary, because you've turned your workspace into a mission space, so that as you're in the gym and you're doing your work with people, it's turned into an opportunity to share Christ with people. What got that going for you? How'd that start?
Yeah, so I realized that while I'm training people, while I'm coaching, I'm building this incredible relational equity with people.
Yeah.
I often feel that people don't come to the church, or maybe they used to and then they've left, because of this significant lack in authentic and real relationship with the people of the church, whether that's leaders or otherwise. And I felt like there was this incredible need for the gospel to be brought into these third spaces, or spaces other than just the church. Because as we look at statistics and numbers, if we did a study that said what percentage of people don't come to church on a Sunday,
wow,
it's going to be the vast majority,
right?
Majority. It's going to actually probably look a lot like Acts 11, right, where we spend so much time preaching to the believer, which is great, but the vast majority of people outside of the church are not believers and need to hear the gospel. And so that's where I started to realize there's this not just a possibility to combine vocational work and ministry work, but there's a necessity for it, right? Not just a possibility, but a necessity.
But an absolute necessity.
Yeah.
So you're there in the gym, things begin to get going, but for folks who are working in schools and working in offices, they're working in everyday businesses where they meet one-on-one with people, like in real estate and those kinds of things, we can often feel anxious in that, like, I don't want to be, it could be awkward to talk to somebody about whether I can pray for them, or do you want to go to a Bible study or something like that, or starting something in their office space. I don't want to be the weird Christian. How do you bring a non-anxious presence into the workspace and share Jesus?
Yeah, the first thing is I think a small bit of anxiousness is probably good, right? If we're so confident and we're going into these conversations thinking that it's our power that's going to save these people or lead them to Christ, then we've kind of missed it.
Yeah.
I think that having some anxiousness is okay, but then resting in the fact that it's not up to us, right? It's not up to how good of a communicator I am or how excellent I am at laying out the bad news of sin, the good news of Jesus. Of course, those things are important and we practice that, but ultimately, it's the Lord, it's the Spirit that's going to be changing these people's lives.
Yeah,
and that takes
it's like the text says, it says the hand of the Lord was with them.
Right.
So
right.
It's him, right?
And when we remind ourselves of the necessity behind it, we realize that, like, you and I aren't going to be in the same physical places as everybody here.
Right.
So we're never going to be able to share the gospel with the people that all of you get to rub shoulders with every single day.
That's right.
So there's the necessity behind it again.
So give us a story of how every day in the gym ends up transforming somebody's life, like happened to these people.
Yeah, so there's this one individual who going back a few years.
And I know you got lots of stories. I mean, it's really great, but this is a good
I'll
one.
give you just one.
Yeah.
Because I see the clock ticking.
Yeah, well, that's all right.
So there's this individual who lives in New Hampshire, and he's living behind the dumpster. He's addicted to drugs and alcohol. He eats the pizza out of the dumpster at the end of the night, behind the pizza shop. And he realizes one day, I got to do something about this. This is not working. He comes down to South Florida to pursue recovery, the recovery life. And in so doing, he gets plugged into what we're doing in the gym. And a lot of times, if you're familiar with the recovery community, they can kind of shift their addiction from drugs and alcohol to maybe the gym or fitness, which is okay, and that's good. But we also want to introduce Jesus into that equation somewhere, right? So this individual comes down, and he starts to come to the gym. We're able to create this really unique relationship, and I share the gospel with him. He comes to know the Lord, and then he goes back home to New Hampshire, about maybe 2 years later. He finds his wife. They have their first kid. They have a beautiful family, and then I asked him recently to kind of share with me what his life's mission was at this point. So we have this individual going from less than 100 pounds, living behind the dumpster, to this being his life mission. It says this: I help busy Christian parents honor God and build a family legacy of physical, mental, and financial wellness. And to me, that's a really cool picture of the gospel transforming this individual's life. And again, it's not through me or 11th Element or the ministry. It's us being faithful to the call and allowing ourselves to be the vessel that God works through for the Spirit to impact lives.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Logan.
Cool.
Bless you, man. It's absolutely critical that we get it's everyday believers making a difference in everyday life.